What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're back with some Destiny 2 news, and Bungie jump in with an absolutely huge TWAB. And they confirm the community event for Season 18, which will be starting next week, and we get a couple of details. There are also some changes for this season's title, and then they immediately jump in and speak about the Crucible moving forward, some changes we'll see in Season 19. That includes adjustments to Iron Banner, which will get a new armor set, but also a new Crucible title, Shaxx Engram focusing, changes to competitive PvP and Trials of Osiris, an updated Rose hand cannon, which is pretty cool, and a bunch of other stuff which we'll talk about in the video, so definitely give us your thoughts on what we cover in this one guys, but without any delay, let's get into it. Initially in the TWAB there is a section about Trans Awareness Week, and they speak about some of the efforts at Trans at Bungie, and there's a new emblem right there with the code on screen. You can also check that out in the TWAB linked below. But next, they very quickly confirm that we are getting a community event improving the Elixni Quarter. And they say we've noticed that the Elixni Quarter is a bit cold, and Mithrax is calling upon us to aid in improving the Fallen's living environment. So, starting on Tuesday, the Elixni Quarter community event is beginning, and all Guardians will be asked to collect treasure in the form of Captain's Coins from around the system to donate towards the Elixni Quarter, helping Spider with improvements and upkeep while Mithrax and Ido devote their time to researching the relics of Nezarec. Captain's Coins will be available in destination chests, lost sectors, public events, and of course, Season of Plunder, Catch, Crash, and Expedition. But we'll also be able to find them in the King's Fall Raid, Dares of Eternity, Strikes, the Crucible, and Gambit, so we'll be able to pick them up in a lot of places. And each Guardian will have their own personal donations reward track with an emblem, upgrade materials, and a new swashbuckling ghost shell. And they say Guardians may find a deep sight weapon or two to help with completing their crafting collection along the way, and Bungie will track the event through several stages, seeing what the community can score. But it will last for 2 weeks, so it should be an interesting end to the season. We've spoken about it a little bit on the channel before. Definitely looking forward to seeing what it's about, and let us know if you plan to jump in and take a look as well. In the update next week though, they'll also be making changes to the Season of Plunder title, and they'll be adjusting the requirements to unlock Scallywags, so they're dropping the Ruffian completion value to 10, down from 50. Pretty big change right there, and of course we're getting it right at the end of the season. They're also dropping the vendor upgrades required from 23 to 14, and they're changing Promote and Summon First Mates to doing it 1 time each. Plus, to unlock the seal, it will only require 8 out of 9 triumphs. So quite a big adjustment to the grind on that title. Of course, a lot of players have already done the original grind to get it, but let us know if you've already unlocked it, or whether that'll make it easier for you moving forward, and any thoughts you have on the changes Bungie have outlined. But up next, there's a pretty big section about PvP. And so initially, starting in Season 19, the Crucible screen will have the following options. There'll be Quick Play 6v6, and the playlist will feature Clash and Control with loose skill-based matchmaking. There'll also be the Weekly Rotator, and that'll move between Momentum Control, Mayhem, Team Scorched, Rift, and Rumble, and it uses purely connection-based matchmaking. Then there's Competitive Division and Freelance 3v3, which is now a playlist in itself, randomly picking Survival, Rift, and Showdown, and it will use a new skill-based matchmaking setting built using concepts they developed for loose SBMM during Season 18. Then there'll be Crucible Labs, which in Season 19 will showcase 3v3 Rift. Labs will have a stacking 25% reputation booster and uses connection-based matchmaking. Plus we'll still get private matches. But they say the Crucible screen will also be updated during limited time PvP events. That'll include Trials, Iron Banner, and Freelance 6v6. And they say Iron Banner will be moving to loose skill-based matchmaking during Season 19, and there's an image of what the Crucible Director will look like during an Iron Banner week. But they also say they're moving some modes around, and they've heard from players that they generally enjoy Clash and would love to see it more often. So they've created the Quick Play playlist to feature both Control and Clash, and that should help focus player populations and invite more players to engage in the solo Crucible combat of Rumble. And they'll be moving this mode to the Weekly Rotator playlist a few times a season. And Elimination will still be unique to Trials of Osiris or private matches, with Showdown moved to a new Competitive Division playlist. They speak more about the Competitive Division in a moment, but in Season 19 there'll be new triumphs and a new title for Crucible, and this will be called Glorious right here, and we can see some of the Glorious requirements: earn Crucible ranks across all seasons, and reset them across seasons. Obviously there are ones to complete matches in different game types, one for gold medals, one that says successfully complete a promotion series, and there are others that require that Competitive Division once again. But next they say when it comes to gilding, they are taking a pass on the requirements for the Unbroken title, and win streaks and reaching specific glory thresholds over multiple seasons are no longer required, and they say it'll be easier to get it done within a single season. So pretty cool that there will be a new PvP title, and let us know if you'll be diving into PvP to try and get that. But also they say that Shaxx will get Crucible Engram focus in, and Crucible Engrams will be a virtual currency and live exclusively on the rank progress bar of Lord Shaxx, and we'll be able to focus the Crucible Engram directly into either armor or weapons from PvP. And gear focusing costs will include 1 Crucible Engram, 10,000 Glimmer, and 50 legendary shards. But they say engrams do not need to be claimed in order to be spent on focusing. Individual pieces of gear must have been acquired at least once prior to being available for focusing, and they say the Clutch Extol set will be available to focus in Season 19. With Crucible weapons available for focusing including Stars in Shadow, the Keening, Frozen Orbit, Survivor's Epitaph, Sorrow's Verse, Crisis Inverted, Riptide, and Out of Bounds. But brand new Crucible weapons are only available as drops during their introductory season, and then are available for focusing the following season. So Shaxx getting a bit of love right there as well. But they say they are looking at ways for players to earn older Crucible armor sets through focusing in Season 20 when Lightfall releases. And they say if you're looking forward to the return of the Exile armor set, or eyeballing some older Iron Banner pieces, we're looking forward to having those available once again in the future. So some pretty positive changes right here to PvP, certainly the biggest set of changes that we're seeing at once to the Crucible in a given season. And there is even more. So they say introducing Iron Banner Fortress. And they say they want to continue the tradition of introducing unique spins on existing modes, so we'll get Iron Banner Fortress in Season 19. And the core gameplay is capturing and holding zones, but if that sounds like zone control to you, you'd be right. The real fun begins though when Keitel gets involved. And they don't give any extra details, but they say we'll leave some of this for you to experience firsthand when Iron Banner Fortress launches on January 3rd. And we'll just say a few of you may be dying to cap a hill. And we can see right there some Cabal turrets inside of PvP, and so possibly a PvP mode with some kind of Cabal invasions going on. That absolutely could be pretty wild. But otherwise, we'll have to speculate for now, and I'd love to get your thoughts in the comment section. Iron Banner will also get some new rewards in Season 19, and they say if auto rifles or slug shotguns are your thing, Saladin has something special for you, updated with random rolls, fresh perks from the last few seasons, and the Iron Banner Origin trait. But they also recognise it's been a year since the last Iron Banner armor refresh, and this year we'll be returning to some fan favourite sets, coming from an era of Taken King. And so we're getting an updated version of the Taken King Iron Banner set from back in D1. The Wolf Hood is back for the Hunters, that'll be certainly one of the most celebrated elements of getting these back. But it was always a pretty cool set, so I'm glad to see that once again. On top of this though, they say they'll be continuing to adjust matchmaking going into Season 19, and they'll be trying fireteam based matchmaking. And the concept is that it means your fireteam's matchup should match your opponent's, and if you join a matching queue as a full team of 6, you should generally match against another full fireteam. And depending how long you wait in matchmaking, it might start a match against a fireteam of 5 plus a solo, but if you wait longer, you might start against a fireteam of 4 plus a duo. And then for those in smaller fireteams, you might match with a larger fireteam against 2 fireteams of similar sizes, or against all smaller fireteams. And as with other matchmaking parameters, fireteam-based matchmaking can be as loose or strict as we want. And for quick play, we'll be fairly generous, allowing slightly mismatched fireteams if skill is similar and connections are fast. And as always, they will continue to tune that. And then for trials, they say there'll be 2 new weapon rewards for players to hunt down. And additionally, they're looking to add fireteam-based matchmaking into trials in the future. And they're looking to provide a larger sense of fairness for smaller fireteams and eliminate the need for a freelance node. Solos can match solos or fill in for teams of duos. And fireteams of 3 will match fireteams of 3. They add that they don't have changes to the flawless pool for Season 19, but they're working on a new paradigm that removes the flawless pool, but still provides protection for players working on Trials rep rewards. And we can expect more info about that in Season 19. So that will certainly be interesting. And they say for the coming year, they're going to be bringing back 2 more Crucible maps from earlier in D2. Plus they've just started production on a brand new map, which they expect to be released in the year of Lightfall. So more real estate is definitely positive. And here for Season 19 again, they say they're removing Glory and adding a 3v3 ranked playlist called the Competitive Division. There will be 7 divisions, each with 3 subdivisions, and they include Copper, Bronze, Silver, and Gold, as well as Platinum, Adept, and Ascendant. And they say at the start of a season, you'll begin a placement series during which you won't gain any division rating for the first 7 games, but after the 7th game, you complete the placement series and are placed into a division based on skill. And they say for the first season, the highest you can be placed in is Gold 3, but in future seasons, you'll be placed closer to your previous competitive division. And they say the division rating will be adjusted on 4 major factors: match outcome, so win or loss, and then division inflation or deflation, which is how far above or below your division is compared to your skill, but also match performance and how you perform on a match-to-match basis, and then player to lobby skill delta, which is how your skill compares to everyone else in the match. And they say as you earn and lose division rating, if you gain enough rating to move up between subdivisions, you automatically enter the next subdivision, and the same goes for moving down. But if you gain enough rating to move up a division, you enter a promotion series where you must win 2 out of 3 games to be promoted to the next division. And similarly, if you lose enough rating to move down a division, you enter a relegation series where you must win 2 out of 3 games to remain in your current division. Upon reaching gold or higher, the division rating is subject to decay on a weekly basis, so you'll lose division rating if you haven't played enough matches recently, and we've kind of seen that in competitive previously. And there will be a small intro quest that demonstrates how the system works and unlocks a reward which they'll touch on in a moment. And they say they're bringing back an old favourite. That's right, Rose is back for competitive division. Originally a legendary hand cannon earned during the Lamina exotic quest, it has a long history in Destiny in which it was corrupted and then redeemed, but it now returns with random rolls and an updated perk pool. So it fires like a 140 RPM hand cannon, but allows you to move like a 150 RPM and has stats that blend the two. The perks list for it is built from popular consistency perks designed to highlight 3v3 play. And it will get randomly rolled grips instead of an origin trait. And when you complete a competitive division intro quest, you get a drop with the perk selection Rose originally had. But after the intro quest, there'll be a character-based weekly challenge to earn another role. And so, by playing competitive division, we'll be able to earn 1 role a week per character. That'll be an interesting extra layer for the competitive division, as well as some bonuses to rep and things like that. So pretty big TWAB right there, guys. Obviously a lot of stuff coming for PvP in Season 19, like I said. It's about the most PvP changes we've seen in a single season, and they're saying for the moment that the plan is to continue supporting the mode moving forward. As always with this kind of stuff, we'll have to see how it pans out over time, but there certainly look like a lot of positives coming for PvP in general across the events, the different modes, and Crucible at base, so give us your thoughts down below. But for today, that does it for the TWAB. I'll catch you guys next week for the community event, which should be pretty cool. If you've enjoyed this video though, a rating below really does help us out. Plus, be sure to get subscribed if you're new around here, and I'll keep you posted with more Destiny content. But otherwise, I hope you guys have an awesome day.